Hey, Dirt Farmer Jay here from dirtfarmerjay.com. Have you seen these new silicone ZipTop bags and containers? We have, and I bought a set. What do we think about it? Stay tuned, and I'll tell you all about it. Hey, Dirt Farmer Jay here from dirtfarmerjay.com. We recently got a set of these ZipTop silicone bags. I saw them on social media and saw them advertised all over the place. I thought, what the heck? So I went rogue and bought it without asking Dirt Farmer Maggie if I could spend it. But we got it in and we put it to use. I'm going to tell you what we think about it. And like any other product, there's pros and cons. We found several cool things about this, but we have some concerns as well. And we're just going to help you make an informed decision of whether or not you want to add this to your kitchen tooling. Before we go any further, if you find this video to be helpful today, would you do us a favor? Would you subscribe? And when you do, ring the bell, and that way every Friday you'll get some great information about the home, the kitchen, out in the shop, or here in Maggie's kitchen, which I took over today. So that's a great thing you can do for us. If you do that, it'd be much appreciated. Back to what's at hand right now. When you buy one of these sets, which by the way, this set includes, as they say in here, a full set of 8. You get what they call 3 cups. They get 3 dishes, this container right here, and 2 bags. This little set right here cost $89. That's right at $90. And I got to tell you, Dirt Farmer Maggie is so cheap, she would never pay $90 for that. But I did, and I heard about it later. But anyway, we went in and bought it, but like anything else, it all depends on the value you get from something over time. And so we're going to let you see what you get and whether or not we think it was worth it. Well, let's go ahead and unbox this set right here of 8 different containers. And what we'll do here is when it comes in this nice little container here, you can see everything is all set up, ready to go in there. And those silicone, 100% food grade silicone, is very flexy, and it's also a little sticky. That's just the nature of the material. That's nothing that says towards this particular product or not. And so here you've got your 2 containers or bags, these type of things. You've got these, what they call cups. So you have these nesting cups that they come out in. And then you have what they call dishes. So here's what they would call dishes that really are more about storing dishes in them. So when you have these here, now you need to unnest them when you're going to make use of them. If you're storing them inside a cabinet, they stow very nice together. And they come in various colors. They have some really cool colors. If you go to ZipTop.com and look at them, they have some pretty pleasing colors. This happens to be the frost, and it's kind of a white translucent. Dirt Farmer Maggie preferred this color when I made the order, when I didn't tell her what I was doing, because she didn't want the tinting of the food to be affected or what the real color of the food was. But that may or may not be important to you. Just saying you have choices when it comes to the color. Now, when you start to unnest these, though, because they are silicone and they're flexy, you're going to see they kind of stick when you drag them out. And if I just try to grab a hold of this and pick it up, it's kind of sticking. So I've developed this little habit of just kind of grabbing the side like that and then kind of pulling out, and then you get that set. And those are your 3 dishes that you get right there. Let's move over to the cups. The same thing. They kind of stick a little bit because of the vacuum. There, that one's sticking. There we go. But they come apart readily enough. And then in this one, instead of cramming this down in here like that, I just make it a little easier and just turn it sideways. But there you've got your 8 pieces. Again, as at the time of this filming, this was $89. And of course, what you're going to do is put whatever you're putting in here, dry goods or wet goods or whatever it might be, sauces, whatever. And let's have you come in and just take a look at this. You can see right here, there's a max line in each of the containers, tell you how far up you should be putting food in here to be stored. And then when you seal it, you're just going to crunch it down and do that. And that's the finished form. You're also going to keep it upright. So if I put it down here, that's how it's stored. So there's the approach with each one of these, and they come apart like this. Now, how many times can you use these? According to ZipTop, thousands of times. They claim around 5,000 uses for each one of these food-grade silicone type of products. And they indicate, because it's 100% silicone, the kind of material you use for other kitchen utensils, high temperature type of things, and mats and things that go in the oven, you can actually freeze items in this. You can also pour boiling items into it or microwave in it. And because it's made of silicone, it does not leach any chemicals into your food because there's just nothing in it to do that. This is very food safe. So there's some great benefits with this. By making thousands of uses of this, obviously you keep these kind of bags out of the landfill, because 5,000 times with this, or 1 or 5 times, depending on whether you wash them or not, that's something to consider. Now, let's just talk about a couple other things about these. What are not so good? I mean, what are some of the things that we found to be concerning with them? Well, first of all, you saw a little bit of the nesting. They're kind of soft and scrunchy, so you end up having to work with them, or at least develop a system to get out of there until you get them out of there, until you develop muscle memory. And that's not that big a deal, but it's just something to consider. The second thing, when you nest them, they do nest very nicely in a small area. That's good. However, when they're full of food, so let's just say that you had these 3, what they call dishes, full of material in them, and I was going to store them in the refrigerator. Well, unlike some of the flat top, some of the things that are done by Glad or Rubbermaid or Tupperware or some of the other storage things, they usually have flats where you can stack them in short areas. These don't stack. You can't stack one on top of the other. What you can do is, if I've got this on the shelf, I can pyramid them like that. So there's ways to do that. And because they are flexible, you can scrunch them in around other things. So that's just something to take into consideration as well. Now, here's something else that's just an inherent built-in disadvantage of these types of containers. They get stained. So you can stain them, and the culprits are usually orange or red foods. And that includes such things as some of our favorite around here, that homemade marinara sauce, which, by the way, you got to check out Dirt Farmer Maggie's recipe. You can look through our catalog and find that, how to do that at home. But that is a rich red sauce, and when it sets in here, it's going to tend to stain this. And the only way you can work to get that out of there is do such things as baking soda paste, or boiling water with vinegar and baking soda and all these different things to try to leach it back out. But there's no guarantee it's going to stay pretty like that. So that's just something to consider, that other red type of items like curry sauces, anything like, let's say, a red pepper hummus or something that's really an intense color, is going to have a tendency, if it's red or orange, to leach into these. That is a disadvantage. There's one other thing that we didn't like, and that is they tend to retain scents. So recently, Maggie made an incredible sweet and sour meatball casserole or dish. And she made enough for us to enjoy it twice. So we stowed it in this one. It was left over. It had about that much left over. And once we were done with it and hand washed it out with hot soapy water along with the other items we washed, you can still definitely smell, or you could definitely still smell that dish in here. So we thought, okay, let's put it in the dishwasher cycle along with everything else. And we run most of our stuff on sanitize with the regular dishwashing detergents that we use that are in most typical homes. Ran it through there, and when you know, it was still there. Now, it was lessened, but it was still there. So much so that when I had the container sitting on the counter open, Dirt Farmer Maggie from another room said, "What are you cooking?" I said, I'm not cooking anything. She says, I'm smelling something like Asian food or sweet and sour. And I said, come in here. It was emanating from this. And of course, she's got a super sniffer. So I'm not saying the whole place smelled like sweet and sour. I'm just saying there was enough still retained in this that she could sense it. We've gone up and checked with other people that have used this. We've gone to ZipTop.com. And what is being recommended to eliminate that is use boiling water along with vinegar and baking soda to sanitize that or get rid of the scent. But I just want you to be aware of that. The other thing that is just kind of a little weird getting used to is the different terminology. And as we said, these shapes, they're just unusual terminology from what we normally think of these things. I'm not saying it was a bag description, but this is what they call dishes. So these dishes are really more what you're saying is they're what you would store in them, a main dish or a fair quantity of something. On the box over here, it also calls the next item cups. These are known as cups, these cylinder type of containers. And of course, that's not typically what I think about cups, but yeah, it's a cylinder, it's a cup shaped type of thing. And that's what's called cups. This container over here is called bags. And I would say they more seem like a pouch, but fair enough. But they do serve somewhat like what a bag would be. So if I had a sandwich, some kind of flat device I wanted to store in here that fit very well, so, let's suppose several slices of cheese, it's going to fit well. So you just have to get used to the terminology. One other thing, I think it's important to note that this product is made in the United States. Now, if you're in the United States, this gives you an opportunity to buy US-made product. And I really don't care what nation you're in, what country you're in. I think it's important to support the industrial base of the country you're in. For those of us in the US, this gives you an opportunity to do so if you want to make that investment that we talked about. Now, for those of you that said, you know what, I don't think, even though I love the product or I'm, up in the air about it, I'm not in a place that I want to put out $90 in one shot to solve some of my food storage issues in my home. And you plan to continue to use these type of bags, the large ones, the disposable. These are sometimes called ZipLock bags, but they're generally disposable. Here is a way that you can get many more uses out of these bags, and that's by washing them and then drying them, putting on a little device like this. You can go to the end card at the end of this video and you'll see this project, how to build it along with plans, how to download them. And so you can build this little project. We've gotten many years of use from this little countertop decor item that serves a very functional purpose of after you wash out a bag, you can simply put it over the top like that to get air up into it. And it dries beautifully, and then you can pull them off of there and put them in your storage drawer. Well, that's it for today. If you found this video to be helpful to you, as I asked you earlier, please subscribe. And when you do, ring the bell so that you'll be notified approximately every Friday of great content related to here in Maggie's Kitchen, out in the shop, and the yardscape, or other great home and garden product reviews. Until the next time, this is Dirt Farmer Jay of DirtFarmerJ.com.